Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Namaste experience on this beautiful Friday. Of course, the sun is shining. Of course, the weather here is beautiful, and I'm sure it's the same wherever all of you are, no matter what. Even if it's rainy, snowy, hurricane, I don't care. It's perfect, right here and now. This we know. Am I right? This we know. Perfection here and now. Catherine seems real excited. Yeah, I guess. Okay. It is more perfecter here. Yes. A tells us, and we just whatever A says, we do. And we say yes to, because she cooks our food and she does it very well. So this morning, it is Friday, and so I have asked one of our local unity ministers to step in and share the session. So we're very excited that Reverend Meagan of Michael and Meagan, sounds like a pop group, Michael and Meagan, Eminem, she's going to share with us today. So I'm just going to step aside and let Meagan come on up and begin. So why don't we welcome Meagan with a nice long Meagan. Here we go. Meagan.
Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone. That felt really good. So I'm already blessed. I thought it would be wonderful to start with song, because that's sort of always been one of my things. It's like the vibrational energy of aligning with the sound of our voice. And I have a call and response song that I would like to lead you into a time of prayer and just some silence. And as we shared before, I have a collection of songs from Oman and Shanti, who traveled doing, they took the words of the Course in Miracles and put it to music. And they traveled a lot through the 80s and 90s around the country. And this one of my favorites is called Let Me Remember. And I'd asked Chris, do you know what the words, let me remember, I am one with God, within the Course in Miracles, where it came from? And I looked it up, and it turns out the first day that we were here, May 4th, the lesson was 124, let me remember. And so maybe that's what triggered in my mind. But this song is a collection of some really powerful truth statements from the Course in Miracles. And so I want to invite you to just feel the resonance as you repeat after me. And we're going to take that then into the silence so that you can realize what the truth means for you. All right? Into his presence, into his presence, would I enter now, would I enter now, for I am surrounded, for I am surrounded by the love of God, by the love of God. Let me be still, let me be still, and listen to the truth, and listen to the truth. Let every voice, let every voice, but God's be still in me, but God's be still in me. Let me remember, let me remember, I am one with God, I am one with God. Peace to my brother, peace to my brother, who is one with me, who is one with me. Let me remember, let me remember, what my purpose is, what my purpose is. Let all the world, let all the world be blessed with peace through me. 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 We just gently take all that truth into our heart space. As we close out the outer world around us and we breathe in the truth into that heart, into that presence that we are, knowing that every breath is activating that we call God in and through and as us in this moment right now. And so we go into the stillness of our heart to listen and allow the realization of the truth that we just sang to become what I need to know in this moment. And we know that every sound that we hear takes us deeper into the realization as we listen in our heart. And remember to breathe. And we breathe in love, and we send love back out into the world with our exhale. And we breathe in the awareness and the realization of the truth that is spoke to each of you individually for what you need to know right now. And we open our eyes with a refreshed, renewed awareness that all that I am is right here. Amen. So it's interesting when something resonates with you and then something triggers that memory that brings us back into the moment. And I think that the truth of that song is to just let me remember I am one with God. And, I sometimes get triggered when we use the word God. So we have to know, what does God mean to me when I say that? Because we use language, we identify things with words. So the word God, I'd invite you just to realize that it is what animates us. That's why our breath is so important. When we breathe in, we're breathing in the awareness that I am divine by nature, and I am breathing the very essence of God into my soul. And I breathe with it everything that I ever needed, and everything that I ever need to know is already within me. What my purpose is, the relevance of connecting with each other, and I can awaken to that memory when I remember in the moment. There's a little story that I recall actually when Michael and I were in seminary, one of our rites of passage, so to speak, where that we had to do a chapel service, and oh my God, so much anxiety. It's the demonstrating that I know how to lead a service, to show up as a minister. And so we had to create our own experience. And I remember signing up for a time and somebody else was before me, and I thought, oh good, I can at least see how they're doing it. Well, then it turns out for whatever reason, that person rescheduled. So I got to be first. And then so I had to breathe through that and go, well, that's okay, because then I don't have to feel like I'm copying anybody, right? And I just stepped into it. And so let me remember actually was my theme. So this keeps coming back around for me, the importance of remembering who we are. And there was a little story that I found through Chicken Soup for the Soul, Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. And it's another one of those things that just reminds us that there's a part of us deep within that always remembers, that always knows. So there's this little girl named Sachi, and she had a brand new baby brother. And little Sachi began to ask her parents, like over and over, she really wanted to just go into that room and be alone with that baby just for a minute. And she was 4. And her parents were just a little anxious. They didn't know if she was jealous or she might, hurt him somehow unintentionally. She had been very kind and loving and hadn't shown any sign of jealousy. And she was like, there was this urgency, just please, I want to see my baby brother. So they finally gave in and they let her go in the room, and the door closed just enough to have a little crack so they could peek in and watch. And they saw her go very quietly up to the baby's bed and leaned over to her little baby brother. And she said, baby, tell me what it's like to be with God. I think I'm forgetting. So there's a part of her that had a slight awareness that there was something that, that's why there's this preciousness of newborns. It's like they have come in from being in spirit, in the remembering. And then we're born as like Pierre de Chardin, a Jesuit priest from like the 1940s or something. He wrote the book Phenomenon of Man. And I always remember he talked about the experience of our journey here is that we involve from spirit, like this expansiveness, we involve into this physical body that has some restriction and limitation to it so that we can evolve back into remembering our divine nature. And so that's what this is all about, the remembering. Somebody needs to be muted. Is that something you can?
I'm going to mute Mari because Mari doesn't seem to realize her mic.
Okay. All right. We're going to release any other sounds and just know that. So there's this something within us that already knows that we're supposed to remember. It's embedded within us. But part of our journey, it's like when you exercise or when you breathe, Jack can tell us all about that, that there's this, it's like pushing against the edge, the boundary. There's like this spiritual muscle that we have to have something to push against, so that we're always expanding. Because if it was simple, just go, oh yeah, I'm so divine, I'm just here being in the moment, we wouldn't have a purpose. So we always have to have something that we're pushing against. And it's like there's a little on the little edge of awareness that we know. So we're going there. And that's why being with a newborn, it's like there's this, we see that beautiful sparkle of the divine that is just radiating within them, right? So that's why we want to be around that, or around somebody that just radiates that energy of knowing their divinity. And yet we have to also find a way to integrate it into this experience of being human, the body that limits us in some way. There's a purpose for that. I believe it's so that we call God, that creative energy, can experience things with the physical senses. So we are gifting that we call God, that creative energy, the experience of living. So think about your life as I am experiencing everything so that the divinity within me can know what it feels like. So it is remembering too. It's a cycle. So I just invite you to remember with every breath you take, If you feel like you're getting pulled out of that awareness, it's like go back to the lyrics of that song. Let me remember I am one with God. Let me remember what my purpose is. Let all people be blessed with that peace of awareness. So, Vicki, what are your words of wisdom around that?
Oh, Reverend Meagan, I'm so excited you did that. So, Chardin wrote another book called Building the Earth. I don't know if you ever saw that book. And of course, it's got my favorite quote. I think it comes from that. After man has mastered the winds, the waves, the tides, and gravity, man will harness for God the energies of love. And for the second time in the history of the world, man will have discovered fire. That has set my soul aflame since I think I saw it in the 8th grade. But one of the things, one of the reasons I love Chardin was his understanding was just as you said, that we've come from reality of our divinity and we've come into a moment of constriction, but that the whole earth is being reborn as we reintegrate to that remembrance, to that divinity. And that's why, for me, I love the simple and the ordinary. For us, you think of great spiritual leaders and teachers who touch thousands or millions of people, and that is wonderful. But the real transformation happens with every one of us being kind where we are, to ourselves, to our brother, to our neighbors, smiling instead of frowning, trusting instead of having anxiety, reading a passage of any scripture, of any tradition that opens our heart. The wave and the transformation is happening with the collaboration of kindness and love expressing itself through all of us in the littlest, most ordinary ways. It may not seem profound, just like we give each other attention right now. Giving our attention to one who speaks of God's love is an act of love in itself. That's an act that we have joined in, and the collaboration of our joining to listen to your words, to each other words, and to take those words as balm, as the words of heaven that are reverberating inside us and all around us, and then to use them as a compass as we go forth from this call or this moment on. That's a wave of realization that's happening. We are that time and space of greatest realization. The axis has shifted within our experience, our timing. Chardin was calling it and naming it, as well as many of the others in all of the New Age and older traditions. But we are the flowering of it, like the flower children. We are the bloom. We are the flowering of it that are taking the integration as our own in the quiet, ordinary, simple ways wherever we find ourselves. We're seeing that light in one another. We are considering the lilies of the field. We're not choosing to strive and strife. We're choosing to step back, take a breath, say, what would you have me do? Let me remember. Let me remember I'm not in charge, that there is a grace and there's a love that guides me. That love is in and all around, and it's my gift to integrate it into my being right now as a simple way of life. How I water my flowers, how I make my bed. It's in the smallest gestures. The grandstand gestures are all wonderful, but the real effectiveness of transfiguration, and that's what we are in. We're in a greater transfiguration, is happening with each one of us, taking whatever occurs to us. Oh, I'm sick. Oh, I'm mistaken about this. I'm sorry about this. I'm mad about this. And rather than acting on it, stepping back. Holy Spirit, correct my mind. I am the integration. I am in this moment the transfiguration from material to divine. That's happening, and this is my greatest opportunity. That's all forgiveness is. It just says I'm not going to use the physical evidence anymore. I'm going to step back and say, wait a minute, let me remember. Let me find the truer experience, the truer answer. And that's what we're doing. We are a collaborative. We are a joined sonship. We are a joined being in this really building the earth back into its original design of divinity, so that what we experience as harmony becomes the harmony that transcends our understanding of it extending through us and all around us and then back to us again. And the other thing is, with Oman and Shanti, Let Me Remember is the only song I could find on YouTube. That any of you guys want to find it, it's done so. But you did it beautifully too. Your voice is beautiful, Meagan, and I'd love to hear you and Shanti sing that together. But you have that same Christ frequency in your voice, and thank you for starting us with song and with that quiet. Thank you for everything. Thank you, everyone. I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. I want to share one other thing that has been a powerful truth statement from another great teacher, Friedrich Nietzsche, and one of Michael's favorite quotes that ties into this, that's so important for us to be seekers. And he said, we are unknown, we knowers, ourselves to ourselves, and this for its own good reason. We have never searched for ourselves. How then shall it ever come to pass that we shall find ourselves? So we have to be seekers and have this inquisitive mind to remember that is already known within me. I am not the persona of what people see. I am not my hair and my eyes and the clothes that I wear, or the roles that I take on, or the labels that I give to myself. I am divine by nature, that is creative and wanting to express and connect and be. But I have to remember that I am, and be willing to courageously take this journey to discover the depth of what it is. And that's one of the things that I've discovered in grief as a spiritual practice. That is an important part of our human experience. And I've really taken that to a spiritual inquiry of experience. So those of you that are around this Sunday, I'll be speaking on the hidden gifts of grief, and I'll be doing a class on it in the next couple of Mondays. But, I really encourage everyone to know that if I deny myself any experience that crosses my path in this lifetime, I am denying the realization of my wholeness. Because everything is a part of who I am. Everything serves a purpose, everything matters, and everything leads me to really, truly knowing and remembering who I am. So let that resonate today. Thank you. So what do we do next, James?
What do you want to do next?
Oh, you know what? We were going to invite everyone. Last night, Michael concluded his class on 12 steps for everyone, and looking at the 12 steps from AA and the 12 attributes of divine nature through Charles Fillmore, and ended with a Sufi dance. And so, Michael, I'm going to invite you to come up, and we're going to turn the camera around, invite everybody into this experience, because somebody said we need to do that at the session tomorrow. And so everyone at home, if there's someone in the room with you, but otherwise just imagine that you're connecting with someone else in the Zoom room. And Michael is going to lead us in. Will you come here just for a minute and just say what the words are? And that we're going to have you stand up, turn and face someone, and take your right hands and put them out to each other.
Okay. Yeah.
No, we can just sit here and talk here.
Okay. So here's the deal. This is going to be a lot of fun. So this is a little
the camera, Zoom room.
Can you sit down?
You sit down here.
Yikes. Hi, Zoom guys. So here's the deal. What we're going to do is we're going to ask you to face someone. And if you want to do this for several rounds, I think it would be a lot of fun. So if I were going to do this with Meagan, I would put hand to hand. So it's right hand to right hand. And then you're going to look through the arch that you've made at the other person. Look them square in the eye. And what you're going to say to them is, I know that you know that I love you. What you know is that I know you love me too. Let me do that again, because the words, you can trip on them. So if you do, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's all part of the experience. So it goes like this. I know that you know that I love you. What you know is that I know you love me too. All right? And then after you've done, sing it once to the person that you're doing it with, and let them sing it to you, and then you go to somebody else. And you do the same thing, and we'll do it several times around until we get to that place. Okay?
I'm just going to turn it around so
You go ahead and just do it from here.
All right. Okay. So here's what it looks like. Ready? I know that you know that I love you. What you know is that I know you love me too. I know that you know that I love you. What you know is that I know you love me too. Now find somebody else. I know that you know that I love you. What you know is that I know you love me too. Back. I know that you know that I love you. What you know is that I know you love me too. I know that you know that I love you. What you know is that I know you love me too. Find somebody else. I know that you know that I love you. What you know is that I know you love me too. Bring it back to him. I know that you know that I love you. What you know is that I know that you love me too. Yay! I know.
Beautiful. Thanks all of you. What a joy it is to join. We are so grateful. And so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish with our prayer of protection. Let me pull this up on the screen. And here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yay, we love you. We'll see you on Sunday, everyone. Namaste. Punto.